Hello everyone. In today's video I have a stack of films to talk about. These are some that have been getting me very excited recently. And this comes during a time when I'd had a bit of a slump in terms of film watching. I don't know if you go through this, but sometimes you can watch so many films all at once that you feel a bit burnt out and you feel like you're not really finding new exciting stuff. But then all it takes is one or two films to get you excited again. And I had a great time with all of the films that I am about to talk about. These are mostly Criterion titles, but there are a few other 4Ks mixed in here. They're all Region A imports actually, which I got over from Boutique Home Video. They're a great UK-based company if you want to get imports that are already in the country. And I'll talk more about them later on in the video because they've just launched their own website and I have a discount code for you if you want to get 10% off their stuff. But anyway, first, let's get talking about some great films. And this one is a great one. It's Malcolm X from Spike Lee, starring Denzel Washington in such a brilliant performance, like just a commanding performance during this epic film, because it's 3.5 hours long. It really is structured like an odyssey. This is the 4K release from Criterion and it looks amazing on this disc. The film charts the life of Malcolm X from early on in his life when he had a life of crime and then he became the person who we all know in history. At 3.5 hours long, it covers a lot of his life, but it never becomes a chore to get through. It's a fantastic release from Criterion. So many special features on here to provide additional context about the man himself and about Spike Lee and how he went about making this film. So a great release all round, and one that I strongly recommend any UK folks importing if you like the sound of it, because the 4K is not available in the UK currently. Next we have an absolute classic. It's Arsenic and Old Lace. This is starring Cary Grant from the great director Frank Capra. This is a screwball comedy set at Halloween, so it has that kind of Halloween vibe to it. And you can't get this in the UK on a Blu-ray, so I had to get this on the Region A disc. We follow Cary Grant's character, who is newly married, and he goes to visit two of his aunts. And when he gets there, he finds out that they have been murdering people, and he needs to help them not get caught, basically. As far as these screwball comedies go, this is one of the most out there, zaniest ones. So it might even be enough to put some people off. But for me, it's just so funny, so charismatic. I love it. Next we have The Power of the Dog, the film from Jane Campion that was nominated for so many awards when it was released. And I think this is one of the best films of the last few years. Even though it was nominated for all those awards, I still think it's underrated because a lot of people kind of brushed it off as a straight to Netflix film. And I think not a lot of people gave this one a chance. Particularly there was that controversy around Sam Elliott, who did an interview and he talked about this being not a real Western because it's not filmed in the US and it's tackling issues that wouldn't normally be tackled in those classic American Westerns. And he then went back on his statement because I think it was poorly judged. And I think all of that just kind of overshadowed many of the conversations that should have been happening around this film. There are great performances all around, particularly Benedict Cumberbatch in one of the best things that I've seen him in. And then the filmmaking all around, Jane Campion's direction, we know she's a great director. And Jonny Greenwood's score to this is absolutely incredible. And on the Blu-ray disc in the combo pack, you get tons of special features. So yeah, one that I wholeheartedly recommend people check out. I'll just take a minute now to talk about Boutique Home Video, who I mentioned that I got all of these imports through. They have just launched a website, boutiquehomevideo.co.uk, and I strongly recommend any UK people who are interested in importing these discs, go over there, check out their whole catalogue, because they have tons of Criterions. They've got Kino Lorber stuff, Shout Factory, some limited edition steelbooks. And if you go over there now until next Sunday, the 4th of June, you can get 10% off if you use the code Give Me 10. So Give Me 10, that's 10. Their new website is really handy for browsing their stock because you can filter by label, by genre, by decade. So it's really easy to find some great stuff, most of it that you can't get on disc in the UK. All of the prices on their website are cheaper than their eBay store, and because these products are already in the UK, you don't have to worry about them arriving damaged because they're inspected by the guys at Boutique Home Video, and they arrive very quickly. I think it's like 2-day tracked shipping, and if you have any issues with them, you can just contact them via their live chat on their website. So for anyone who wants to import some of these discs, go and check out boutiquehomevideo.co.uk and get your 10% off and enjoy some great imports. The next film I have to recommend is incredible. It's a masterpiece in my eyes, and I really hope more people will check this one out. It's Exotica from director Atom Egoyan. This is a film from the 90s which is set in a strip club in Toronto, and we follow all these different characters who frequent this strip club, and we learn how their lives are, intertwined, and we watch their stories play out, and it's just so incredibly well done. The themes that are explored in the film, like grief and obsession and jealousy, are done in one of the best ways that I've ever seen in a modern movie. And this Blu-ray disc is sourced from a new 4K restoration, which looks beautiful, and it's great because the existing disc of this in the UK, which was in a box set from Artificial Eye, did not look good, and this is such an improvement over that disc. The features on this are great as well. There's an audio commentary with Egoyan, and also the composer Michael Danner, whose score is brilliant as well. Please do check this film out. I think this is one of the best films of the 90s, and I really want more people to check this out. Another modern film now, it's Sound of Metal from Darius Marder, with Riz Ahmed in a great central performance. This one was also nominated for lots of awards when it came out, but I don't see lots of people speaking about this one today, which is a real shame because I think it is so well made. We follow Riz Ahmed's character. He is a drummer in a metal band, and he starts to lose his hearing and eventually goes deaf. And it's all about him coming to terms with this and finding new purpose in the world with this condition that he's got. We follow him go through these stages of grief as he comes to terms with the fact that he has lost his hearing, which is so important to him because of his life in music. The 4K disc looks and sounds great to me, tons of special features, so this is another one that I recommend importing. Next we've got House of Games from David Mamet. This was his directorial debut, and what a great film it is for a first film. He had obviously written films before this and was an accomplished writer, but his turn to direction was a very strong debut. Great performances here from Lindsay Krause and Joe Mantegna. Lindsay Krause plays this therapist who she gets involved in this life of crime after she goes to visit this gambling den to kind of find out more about one of her clients and the trouble that her client is in. As you would expect from Mamet, the dialogue is incredible, quite noirish. If you're a fan of noir films, I think you will like this one. And this is one that's not on Blu-ray in the UK, so I had to import this one. Great special features as well, conversations with Mamet and some of the cast, so a brilliant one to have in your collection. And I also got Daisies from Vera Hitilova. This is a Czechoslovakian film, a very important one as part of the New Wave. I own this on Blu-ray already from second run in the UK, although this is sourced from a restoration that came out after the second run disc, I think. They do look different. This one definitely has improved quality, different colours, so that's a common issue these days, a topic for another day. The film itself is quite hard to describe, so I'm not going to try here. It is experimental. It's described as a feminist experimental masterpiece. So if you're a fan of, films that are a bit out there, definitely check this one out. The special features as well do differ from that UK disc. So the fact that this is improved quality and different special features means that I had to double dip because I think it's a great film. And now for something that's not Criterion that I imported via Boutique Home Video. It's The Last Detail from Hal Ashby with Jack Nicholson. This is the 4K Blu-ray from the Shout Select label. And I had to get this. I love this film so much. Hal Ashby is one of the most important filmmakers for me from the 1970s in terms of American cinema. He went on a streak of making just hit after hit in terms of how good the filmmaking is. It follows these two Navy officers who are tasked with escorting this other naval officer who is about to go to prison for some crimes that he's committed. It's a look at the system, it's a look at fraternity and relationships between men, because in a way, while there's nothing homoerotic in this film, there's a real sense of love between these characters, and that really comes across in the performances and the filmmaking. It looks beautiful on the 4K. Definitely was worth me double dipping because I have the Indicator Blu-ray of this film, but I'll be keeping both because of the differences in special features as well. So please do check this one out. I also picked up a Kino Lorber 4K disc. It's Mad Max. This is where it all began. George Miller's classic of dystopian filmmaking with Mel Gibson in the lead role. It was great to revisit this on the 4K. I think it looked very good indeed, sounded incredible. And while it is very different to the films that came after it in the series, you can still see the DNA right from the start in terms of how George Miller approaches his type of filmmaking. It looks and sounds great on the 4K disc. I know there is a UK disc, but I don't know how this compares to that. So I'll have to defer to someone else for any comparisons. But I had no issues with this. And it was great exploring all of the special features on the Blu-ray. So there you have it, a great stack of recommendations from me of titles that I have imported from the US. If you're in the UK and you fancy importing some discs for yourself, then do go over to boutiquehomevideo.co.uk, have a check out of their store, see what's in stock, because they've got hundreds of discs that you can buy from them. And it's a great service. Importing is expensive, there's no way around it, but if you do decide that you want to import some things, I think it's currently the best, most stress-free option. If you enjoyed this video and want more recommendations from me, then just click the video that's on screen right now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.